So what's going on, guys, and today I'm going to be bringing you some more awesome information to do with the EISENDRACHE, which is the first DLC map we're getting for Black Ops 3 Zombies. Some awesome new information which can tie it into a secret storyline, and we'll expect to see a lot more explanation of this and perhaps even some crazy links when we play this map in just under a month's time. If you guys do enjoy this video, spare a second to hit that like button. Let's get straight into this. So Call of Duty like to drop hints towards DLC and of course give us little tidbits of information as we get closer and closer to announcements of DLC, and of course with DLC coming out. And there is the main Call of Duty account, which is just at Call of Duty on Twitter and Facebook, but there's also another Twitter account for Australia and New Zealand called Call of Duty _ANZ, and they usually post the same stuff as the main Call of Duty site, but they will normally word it a little different and give slight kind of little bits of information that weren't in the original tweets. And this one gives us a load of really cool information, so I'll show you this now. It says hard to infiltrate and even harder to escape. What's inside Griffin Castle? Black Ops 3 Awakening hits PS4 on the 2nd of February. Now this is huge, because straight away hearing that you're going to be like, whoa. So we now have a confirmation that the actual main castle within the map is called Griffin Castle. Now if you've been playing Zombies for a while, straight away you should recognise that word Griffin and relate that to Moon, because the actual base that was on the moon in the moon map is actually called Griffin Station. Now this is where things are going to start to get a little bit deep and storyline heavy, but I'm really excited to debate this with you guys, and if you have any other ideas, drop it down below in the comment section. Now as we know, the timeline in Black Ops 3 Zombies is different to what happened in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 and World at War. The events from World at War and Black Ops 1 led up to Richtofen doing his grand scheme on the moon. Now he actually went behind Maxis's back, working with a doctor called Dr. Schuster. Now they originally began experiments on teleporting different items. They started with a walnut to try and teleport it a few feet, and then they began with teleporting humans, and Richtofen actually put himself forward as the target to be this test subject, and he actually got teleported to this random place filled with alien-like technology, including a pyramid structure at the center of the room, which could very well be the MPD. There was also covered in some sort of hieroglyphic language, and Richtofen seemed to be what he thought was in some kind of jungle area. Shortly after that, Richtofen was teleported randomly back to the giant facility, and that's where Richtofen and Dr. Schuster were almost close to finishing on the teleportation devices. But it was at this point where Richtofen finally switched with his ideas and decided to leave Group 935. Now it's actually for the last 2 years there working at the Eagle's Nest, as he called it, to build up fortifications, to take equipment from the labs, and to finally stop living a double life and leave Group 935 to work with the group on Griffin Station, which is a station built on the moon where the MPD was housed, where Samantha is actually inside. Richtofen called it an ancient vril machine, and he adopted Dr. Groff as the lead scientist there at Griffin Station to discover exactly how it works. And Richtofen at the time didn't know, but he knew it was a direct connection to another dimension. So it turns out the original location where Richtofen was teleported in those tests with Dr. Schuster was actually on the moon. He found many interesting Vil artifacts there. He decoded some of the language, and all the signs pointed to this device being a stable gateway to the ether, which is why the Griffin Station was built around this. Now as we know, some huge events took place on Griffin Station in the moon Easter egg, where Richtofen's grand scheme was fulfilled and he became ruler of the zombies. Now of course this is what our characters are trying to stop in Black Ops 3 Zombies, which is why the older version of Richtofen was killed in the Giant, and that's why Richtofen now is going around all these different locations picking up artifacts which will help them on his journey to stop the events that took place ever happening in the future. Now looking at all the history of that taking place on Griffin Station, it's remarkable that this castle is called Griffin Castle. Now this is a slightly different timeline, so perhaps this could be this dimension's version of Griffin Station, since on Griffin Station they built it there not only for the MPD but because there was a large deposit of element 115, and as we know in the trailer, Jason Blundell stated that there was a large amount of element 115 and other stuff in the facility of this castle, which is why we are there. Another really cool theory is that this must be Griffin Station in our dimension, like I mentioned, but another factor to back this up is if we look at the brand new loading screen that we saw in the Treyarch Zombies history trailer, which I made a video on around about a week ago talking about a possible Moon remake, we couldn't be getting a necessarily Moon remake, but a lot of Moon stuff thrown into this castle, because as we see in the loading screen, the base is no longer there in the new version of that loading screen. It could be missing from that loading screen because it is now this castle, which is awesome. And it would also explain why there are rockets around the castle as well, as we had rockets around the station on the moon. We've had a lot of signs now that a possible Moon remake could be coming, but rather than a complete Moon remake itself, we throw in a ton of storyline from Moon, but direct it in a different dimension with this Griffin Castle, which I absolutely can't wait to find out the story with this map. Now, also interestingly, in this tweet, they wrote hard to infiltrate and even harder to escape, which indicates that the fact that there could be some form of Easter egg or some sort of objective where we have to escape this castle in some way. Looking at how destroyed this castle is and the surrounding areas where there's actual like a bridge that has totally crumbled down. There was also a shot which you can see in my video of the high res image of this map's concept art where you can see like a castle wall has been like kind of smashed in and it's really high up in the mountain, so you could easily fall out of that. It's just like there's no safe way that it seems to be able to escape this map, and whatever is going to take place on this map is going to be absolutely huge. And like Blundell mentioned in the trailer as well, is there's going to be some sort of conclusion to the story as well, which is confusing to me because this is only the first DLC map of Black Ops 3, but already there's some sort of conclusion with our storyline with our characters, so I'm not too sure what exactly that is going to mean, but we are so close now to getting this map, and hopefully we'll get a brand new trailer with more gameplay of this map as well at some point in the next few weeks. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you absorbed all the information and found it awesome, definitely feel free to drop a like rating on the video. I'd really appreciate that. Make sure to subscribe for the latest videos about this map and any future Black Ops 3 content. And I'll catch you guys in another video very soon.